Hi guys, I made this video to share with you how you can configure SolidWorks according to your working preference. I will cover some topics which will improve our efficiency when designing in SolidWorks. First, let's talk about the user interface. So let's start a new part file. Okay, and the first thing you notice, some of you might notice that the workspace is not entirely white in color. There seem to be some splotchy gray patches in this workspace. However, this is not a defect of your screen, but rather it is SolidWorks default viewport background. And you can configure the background color according to your preference. To do that, we can change the viewport background in the options that can be found under the Tools palette. Yeah, it's right at the bottom. If it's not visible, click the black arrow pointing downwards to review more options. And here you can find the options command or the options to change the custom settings according to your preference. On the left side, click on color, and this is where you can change the various color schemes. It depends on how you prefer to work. The first option in this drop-down list selection, there's plenty of options for you to choose. The first option is the viewport background. To do that, let's edit the change, and I will select a purple color so that we can see whether there are any obvious changes when we do that. The next thing you need to do is to select the second radio button. What you see, the splotchy background, is actually this document scene background, which is by default when you open SolidWorks. Let's select the second radio button and click OK. There you can see that the background has changed according to the color we have selected. So let's go back and select a more pleasing color. Options again, color, edit the color. I prefer to use a slightly off-white color, slight gray color, because I find that pure white color can be very glaring, and over time you will get, I tend to get very dry eyes, and my eyes get very tired. So this is the neutral gray that I prefer to work in. So there you have it. You can change the viewport background color according to your preference. By the way, the options panel can also be accessed by clicking the options button right at the top here. That looks like a gear wheel. You can directly go into the options panel by clicking the gear wheel. By default, when we create a new part file, the planes, the front, top and right planes are not visible. They have to be toggled on and off. The visibility has to be toggled on and off, and it can be done under this hide show items drop down with the eye icon. The top left icon is the view planes visibility control tab, and to the right is the hide show primary planes tab. The planes will only show when you click on this icon, and this icon toggles the visibility of the plane on and off. However, if you were to disable this view plane icon, the plane's visibility will be disabled, and there will be no possibility for you to toggle it on until you click this view plane icon again. I prefer to leave this view planes icon enabled all the time and control the visibility with the hide show primary planes command here. Over at the feature tree, you will notice a small tab somewhere in the middle of the workspace. If you left click and pull this tab towards your right, it will reveal a bigger feature tree area for you to have better visibility. For example, if you have a very long description that is being hidden by this feature tree width. If you increase the width, you will notice greater than sign at the top right corner of the feature tree. If you left mouse click this, you will see there are more options available in the feature tree. On the first column is the visibility control column. Here you can toggle on and off individual planes, the visibility of the individual planes. So I prefer to work with this option because it is more flexible. You can choose the orientation of your model by clicking this View Orientation drop-down panel and either choose the top, front, right, left, and each time you need to change orientation, you need to click the icon again. Another way is to hit the space bar and the orientation dialog box will appear and you can change your orientation. The problem is the dialog box disappears every time you click your desired orientation. What you can do is to pin it to your workspace by clicking on the pin on the top right hand side and move the dialog box to somewhere that is not blocking your view, and when you do that, the dialog box stays open all the time. You can close it when you don't need the dialog box anymore. I find that opening and closing the orientation dialog box or clicking the orientation bar drop down at the top is rather troublesome. Therefore, I normally put a shortcut command on my user interface. You can do that by hovering your mouse at the top of the command manager, right click, and you see a lot of features that you can. These are floating features. When you select them, a command bar will open, and you can dock it anywhere onto your screen. First, let's select the standard views by left mouse clicking once, and you will see the standard views command panel open. This is the same as your orientation view, where you can look at the front, the back, the left side, right side, the top and the bottom, isometric, trimetric, or whatever. And if you choose a front a plane, you can view the normal to the plane with this view, and it's more convenient, and you can dock this anywhere to your preferred workspace. I prefer to dock it to one side, and if you move this command box to the left side, to the right hand side or the extreme of your workspace, it will snap to the edge and align itself there. You see, if you move it beyond a certain point, it just snaps it to a new position. So once you have located the position that you prefer, just leave it there, and you can always pull it out by hovering your mouse on the top. You will see a dotted line, and the mouse cursor will change into a crossbar. You can pull it out and delete and remove it from your workspace. Once again, hover your mouse on the command manager panel, right click, select standard views, and dock it to your preferred location. If you find that this row of icon is a bit troublesome if you want to access your orientation commands, you can remove this row of icon. These are for advanced users, which I don't think we will be using anytime soon. So to remove this row of icon, you can just go up to the view drop down, go to user interface and uncheck the task pane. That row of icon is the task pane, so if you uncheck, the icon will disappear. You can check it, you can click the check mark again if you want it back. So I prefer to leave this unchecked so I have a cleaner interface.